Have you ever told yourself that everything is fine when you actually feel the opposite? Have you justified actions that you know are not correct? Have you ever wondered why you sometimes feel disconnected from your own happiness? The answer could be closer than you imagine. Self-deception, that skillful master of disguise, often prevents us from seeing reality clearly. Today, we will explore how this common human tendency can hinder our personal growth and how Stoic philosophy offers us powerful tools to overcome it. We will delve into a fundamental aspect of human psychology that, despite being so common, is often underestimated: self-deception. This phenomenon, which consists of believing in ideas or truths that are not entirely true, plays a crucial role in our lives and how we relate to the world. Join us on this journey to unravel the mechanisms of self-deception and understand its implications. We've all experienced those moments when we tell ourselves a little lie to feel better. However, these small falsehoods have the ability to weave a complex web of self-deception that permeates every aspect of our lives. From the simplest decisions to the most ambitious goals, these unconscious lies can sabotage our efforts and hinder our personal growth. Have you ever wondered why you keep making the same mistakes or why you feel stuck? We'll also go deeper with real-life examples, the psychology behind self-confidence, deception, and practical steps to becoming more authentic and self-aware. Lesson 1. Self-deception is our enemy. We are not referring to those little inventions that we tell ourselves to soften reality. We are talking about a deeper deception, often invisible to ourselves, where we twist the truth to shield our ego, flee from discomfort, and cling to an illusion of dominance over our life. Your brain is a consummate magician, capable of performing the most amazing mental tricks. With a simple wave of his wand, he transforms stark reality into a fascinating illusion, designed to keep you entertained and safe. Imagine your brain as a film director, writing and producing a movie about your life. With each scene, he carefully selects camera angles, lighting, and dialogue, creating a narrative that puts you center stage. The facts may not always match the plot you've created, but your brain is an expert at rewriting the story to fit your vision. For example, if you have an important presentation and you don't feel completely prepared, your brain can exaggerate your strengths and minimize your weaknesses, giving you the confidence to get ahead. It's like having an expert personal assistant working to make you look good, even when you're not. As the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, "We lie louder when we lie to ourselves." In other words, self-deception is the most insidious form of deception. Self-deception may seem harmless and even useful. It can sometimes protect us from painful truths, increase our self-esteem, and help us cope with difficult situations. But in the long run, self-deception is a toxic habit that can lead to a series of problems. When we deceive ourselves, we resist change and growth, clinging to outdated beliefs, unhealthy habits, and toxic relationships. We stay stuck in our comfort zones for fear of facing the truth and making the necessary changes to improve our lives. Self-deception blinds us to new opportunities. We can convince ourselves that we are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to pursue our dreams. We can settle for less than we deserve, or we can lose everything about the possibilities of learning, growing, and expanding our horizons. Self-deception can erode trust and intimacy in our relationships. When we lie to ourselves, we are more likely to lie to others. We may hide our true feelings, avoid difficult conversations, or engage in passive attitudes. Self-deception creates a disconnection between our conscious and unconscious minds. We might say one thing, but our actions and emotions tell a different story. This internal conflict can lead to anxiety, depression, and a general feeling of unease. So, how do we update our internal detectors and free ourselves from the clutches of self-deception? Following the following recommendations. 1. Self-awareness. The first step is to take a journey towards deep introspection. It is essential to bare our interior, exploring those prejudices, limiting beliefs and defense mechanisms that unconsciously shape our perception of the world and ourselves. By paying attention to our internal dialogue, the stories we tell ourselves, and the justifications we create for our actions, we can identify recurring patterns and unravel the roots of our attitudes and behaviors. 2. Radical honesty. Be brutally honest with yourself even when it hurts. Ask yourself difficult questions, question your assumptions, and face your fears. As American writer Cheryl Strayed put it, "The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off." 3. Feedback. None of us have a complete vision of ourselves. It's like trying to put together a puzzle with just one piece. To get a clearer and more accurate picture, it is essential to seek the perspective of others. Close friends, family, mentors, or mental health professionals can offer us valuable insights that often go unnoticed. By listening to your honest and constructive feedback, we can identify our blind spots and work on areas we may not have considered before. This feedback not only helps us grow personally, but also strengthens our relationships by showing that we value the opinions of those around us. 4. Accept the discomfort. Growth and change often involve discomfort, so don't avoid difficult conversations, challenging situations, or uncomfortable truths. As the saying goes, the only way out is through real-world examples, because philosophy is best served with a bit of reality. The procrastinator, instead of telling himself that he will do it later, recognizes his fear of failure or discomfort and acts despite it. The unhappy spouse, instead of pretending that everything is fine in their marriage, begins an honest conversation with their partner about their needs. The addict, instead of denying his addiction, seeks help, recognizes his problem, and takes steps toward recovery. Self-deception is a universal human tendency, but it is not inevitable. By cultivating self-awareness, practicing radical honesty, seeking feedback, and accepting discomfort, we can free ourselves from the illusion of self-deception and live a more authentic life. As the philosopher Carl Jung expressed it, "As long as you do not become conscious, the unconscious will direct your life and you will call it destiny." Lesson 2. The present is all we have. The present is all we have. Make the most of it, because once it passes, we will not get it back. Let us be aware of time, not what time it is, but the deepest, most philosophical kind of time. The fleeting nature of existence, the preciousness of the present moment, and the importance of living fully in the here and now. The time warp is an illusion. We often get stuck in the past or the future. We have regrets, we replay old conversations in our heads, and we worry about what might happen tomorrow, next week, or next year. But here's the secret. The past is gone. The future is uncertain. And all we really have is the present moment. As the renowned German philosopher Eckhart Tolle said, "Realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make now the main focus of your life." Ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca were masters of time management. They said that time is our most valuable asset and we should use it wisely. They emphasized the importance of living in the present moment, focusing on what we can control and accepting what we cannot. Marcus Aurelius said not to waste any more time arguing about what a good man should be. So, how can we free ourselves from the time distortion and make the most of the present moment? 1. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment. It's about being fully engaged in whatever you're doing, whether it's washing dishes, talking to a friend, or just breathing. By practicing mindfulness, we can cultivate a deeper appreciation of the present moment and reduce our tendency to get caught up in the past or the future. 2. Gratitude. Gratitude is the practice of appreciating what we have instead of focusing on what we lack. When we are grateful for the present moment, we are less likely to dwell on regrets or worry about the future. 3. Actions with purpose. Don't let life be just something that happens to you. Take charge of your time and energy, set goals, pursue your passions, and make a difference in the world. As the philosopher Aristotle expressed it, "We are what we do repeatedly." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. 4. Impermanence. Everything in life is temporary. Our relationships, our possessions, our bodies. Everything changes, and finally, it fades away. By accepting impermanence, we can learn to appreciate the value of each moment and live more fully in the present. Let's explore how this concept applies in daily life. With a positive attitude, the retiree has left the worries of the past behind and has embarked on a new stage full of possibilities. He enjoys the company of his loved ones and dedicates himself to discovering hobbies that he is passionate about, demonstrating that retirement is an opportunity to grow and learn. Instead of being overwhelmed by exam anxiety or professional future uncertainties, the proactive student focuses on optimizing his or her study methods. You actively seek the tools and support you need to achieve your academic goals, thus transforming the learning process into a rewarding and enriching experience. Instead of being consumed by the deep grief of losing his son, the father has found a way to transform his pain into a driving force. Through contemplation of the beautiful memories he shared with his son, he has come to appreciate the life they lived together. This appreciation has led him to seek creative ways to honor his son's memory and perpetuate his legacy. With every action he takes, the father seeks to live a life that serves as a tribute to his son and makes him proud from beyond. Life unfolds in the present moment, a blank canvas that is painted with each experience. By cultivating mindfulness, we tune into the richness of each moment, savoring the flavors, feeling the textures, and listening to the sounds around us. Gratitude allows us to recognize the beauty in everyday life, transforming even challenges into opportunities for growth. Acting with purpose connects us to a deeper sense of ourselves and the world, while accepting impermanence frees us from attachment to the past and anxieties about the future. On this journey, we discovered that true happiness lies in the here and now. Lesson 3. It's not the thing, it's what we do with it. Our perception of reality is shaped by our thoughts, beliefs, and interpretations. In other words, it is not the events themselves that determine our experience, but what we make of them. Events pass through your mind like a prism as light passes through it and is refracted into a spectrum of colors. Similarly, when events happen in our lives, our minds refract them through our unique lens of beliefs and experiences. This means that two people can experience the same event and have completely different interpretations of it. As the philosopher Epictetus said, "It is not things that bother us, but our judgments about things." In other words, it's not the traffic jam that bothers you. It's your judgment that says that the traffic jam is a terrible inconvenience, that it's ruining your day. Our perception of reality has a profound impact on our lives. It shapes our emotions, our actions, and our relationships. If we view the world through a lens of fear, scarcity, and negativity, we will experience life as a struggle. But if we see the world through a lens of abundance, opportunity, and gratitude, we will experience life as a gift. As psychologist William James said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their mental attitudes. So how can we hack our perception and create a more empowering reality?" 1. Challenge your assumptions. Our perceptions are often based on unconscious assumptions and beliefs. Take some time. It's time to examine your beliefs and ask yourself if they are really true. Are they based on evidence, or are they just stories you've been telling yourself? 2. Reframe your perspective. When you are faced with a challenging situation, try to reframe it from a more positive perspective. Look for the opportunity for growth, the lesson to be learned, or the silver lining. As the saying goes, every cloud has a silver lining. 3. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool to shift our perception from lack to abundance. Take time each day to appreciate the good things in your life, no matter how small they may seem. 4. Cultivate optimism. Optimism is not about denying reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It is about choosing to focus on the positive, to see the possibilities in every situation, and believe in your ability to overcome challenges. 5. Surround yourself with positivity. The people we spend time with have a huge impact on the way we think. Surround yourself with positive people who support you and inspire you to be better every day. Let's explore how this concept applies in daily life. Job loss. Instead of viewing job loss as a failure, you can reframe it as an opportunity to pursue a more fulfilling career or start your own business. The breakup. Instead of seeing a breakup as a rejection, you can reframe it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself, heal old wounds, and find a more compatible partner. The health diagnosis. Instead of seeing a health diagnosis as a death sentence, you can reframe it as a wake-up call to prioritize your health. Make positive changes in your lifestyle and evaluate the final result every day. It's not what we do, it's what we do with it. By changing our perception, we can change our reality. We can choose to see challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and life as an adventure. As the poet Maya Angelou put it, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Lesson 4. The strong accept responsibility. We're not talking about doing your housework or paying your taxes, although that's important too. We're talking about a deeper, more philosophical kind of responsibility. It's the responsibility that comes with being a mature adult in this complex world. What we're talking about is owning your actions, your choices, and your life. 1. The blame game. It's easy to play the blame game when things go wrong. It's tempting to point the finger at someone else, at our parents, at our partners, at our bosses, at the government, and even at the universe. But here's the thing. Guilt doesn't solve problems. It just keeps us trapped in a cycle of victimhood and resentment. The French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, considered one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century and recognized as the greatest exponent of existentialism, expressed, "Man is condemned to be free, because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does." In other words, we have the freedom to choose our actions, and with that freedom comes responsibility. 2. Empowerment. Taking responsibility for our lives is not about guilt, it is about empowerment. It is about recognizing that we have the power to shape our own destiny, learn from our mistakes, and make positive changes. As psychologist Jordan Peterson said, "To stand with your shoulders back is to accept the terrible responsibility of life with your eyes wide open." So how do we step up and take responsibility for our actions? Recognize your role when something goes wrong. Don't immediately look for someone else to blame. Take a step back and ask yourself, what role did I play in this situation? What could I have done differently? 3. Practice gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool to shift our perception from lack to abundance. Take time each day to appreciate the good things in your life, no matter how small they may seem. 4. Cultivate optimism. Optimism is not about denying reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It is about choosing to focus on the positive, to see the possibilities in every situation, and believe in your ability to overcome challenges. 5. Surround yourself with positivity. The people we spend time with have a huge impact on the way we think. Surround yourself with positive people who support you and inspire you to be better every day. Let's explore how this concept applies in daily life. Job loss. Instead of viewing job loss as a failure, you can reframe it as an opportunity to pursue a more fulfilling career or start your own business. The breakup. Instead of seeing a breakup as a rejection, you can reframe it as an opportunity to learn more about yourself, heal old wounds, and find a more compatible partner. The health diagnosis. Instead of seeing a health diagnosis as a death sentence, you can reframe it as a wake-up call to prioritize your health. Make positive changes in your lifestyle and evaluate the final result every day. It's not what we do, it's what we do with it. By changing our perception, we can change our reality. We can choose to see challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and life as an adventure. As the poet Maya Angelou put it, "If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude." Lesson 4. The strong accept responsibility. We're not talking about doing your housework or paying your taxes, although that's important too. We're talking about a deeper, more philosophical kind of responsibility. It's the responsibility that comes with being a mature adult in this complex world. What we're talking about is owning your actions, your choices, and your life. 1. The blame game. It's easy to play the blame game when things go wrong. It's tempting to point the finger at someone else, at our parents, at our partners, at our bosses, at the government, and even at the universe. But here's the thing. Guilt doesn't solve problems. It just keeps us trapped in a cycle of victimhood and resentment. The French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre, considered one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century and recognized as the greatest exponent of existentialism, expressed, "Man is condemned to be free, because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does." In other words, we have the freedom to choose our actions, and with that freedom comes responsibility. 2. Empowerment. Taking responsibility for our lives is not about guilt, it is about empowerment. It is about recognizing that we have the power to shape our own destiny, learn from our mistakes and make positive changes. As psychologist Jordan Peterson said, "To stand with your shoulders back is to accept the terrible responsibility of life with your eyes wide open." So how do we step up and take responsibility for our actions? Recognize your role when something goes wrong. Don't immediately look for someone else to blame. Take a step back and ask yourself, what role did I play in this situation? What could I have done differently? 3. Learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are inevitable. We all make mistakes from time to time, but the difference between the strong and the weak is how we respond to those mistakes. The strong learn from their mistakes, repair them, and learn from them. The weak wallow in self-pity and blame others. 4. Get into the solutions. Instead of dwelling on the problem, focus on finding a solution. Ask yourself what you can do to improve, what steps you can take to prevent it from happening again. 5. Talk less and act. Take action. Don't just talk about taking responsibility. Take steps to correct your mistakes, make amends and move on. As the saying goes, actions speak louder than words. 6. Surround yourself with people who support you. These could be a friend, a mentor, a therapist, or even a coach. Having someone to consult with can help you stay on track and make progress toward your goals. Let's explore these real-world examples. The failed project. Instead of blaming his or her team members or circumstances, the project manager takes responsibility for the failure, learns from his or her mistakes, and develops a plan to improve future projects. The broken relationship. Instead of blaming his or her ex-partner for the breakup, the heartbroken individual takes responsibility for his or her own role in the demise of the relationship. She seeks therapy to address her own issues and learns how to build healthier relationships in the future. The financial setback. Instead of blaming the economy or their employer, the person facing a financial setback takes responsibility for their decisions. Create a budget and find resources to improve your financial education. Taking responsibility for our lives is not easy. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront our own flaws and shortcomings, but it's also incredibly empowering. When we take responsibility for our actions, we regain control of our lives and create a future that is truly ours. As the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a reason to live can endure almost anything." Lesson 5. Never complain, never explain. Let's talk about complaining and explaining. We're not talking about grievances or constructive comments. Those are important. We are talking about chronic complaining, endless venting, the constant need to justify ourselves to others. We are talking about the energy that drains time and the soul, of making excuses and thinking about negativity. Complaints are like a virus that spreads easily, infecting our minds and leaving us feeling exhausted and unmotivated. When we complain, we focus on what is wrong in our lives, our jobs, our relationships, the world in which we live. Negativity amplifies problems and creates a self-fulfilling prophecy of misery. As the philosopher Seneca put it, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. In other words, we often make ourselves more miserable than necessary. By focusing on our complaints and grievances, we fall into the trap of explanation. Explaining ourselves is often a way of seeking validation or approval from others. We want people to understand our actions, our choices, and our motivations. But this is just what we don't need, everyone's approval. We don't need to justify ourselves to anyone. As the writer and First Lady of the United States, Eleanor Roosevelt, expressed it, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." In other words, when we seek their approval and validation, we give others power over us. Ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus had a simple solution for dealing with complaints and explanations. Don't do it, don't complain, and don't explain. They believe our energy is better spent focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our attitudes, rather than on things that are beyond our control. As Marcus Aurelius put it, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So how can we free ourselves from the trap of complaining and explaining and cultivate a more positive and empowered mindset? 1. Focus on solutions. Focusing on solutions instead of dwelling on problems. Ask yourself, what can I do to improve this situation? What steps can I take to move forward? 2. Practice gratitude. Instead of complaining about what you don't have, focus on what you do have. Take time each day to appreciate the good things in your life, your health, your loved ones, your opportunities. 3. Choose your words wisely. Words have power. When we complain, we reinforce negative thoughts and feelings. Choose to speak words of encouragement, optimism, and gratitude. 4. Take action. Don't talk just to talk. Instead of saying what you are going to do, take action and do it. Start moving and taking the actions necessary to improve your life, relationships, and community. 5. Let go of the need for approval. You don't need everyone to like you. Focus on living a life that is true to your values, regardless of what others think. Let's explore how this concept applies in daily life. The office complainer. Instead of joining in with the office gossip and negativity, focus on your own work and find solutions to any problems you encounter. Social networks. Instead of venting your frustrations on social networks, channel your energy into positive actions. Volunteer your time, support a cause you believe in, or simply be kind to those around you. The self-doubting perfectionist. Instead of seeking validation from others, focus on your own growth and development. Set goals, challenge yourself, and celebrate your achievements. Complaining and explaining are bad habits that drain our energy, waste our time, and prevent us from living a good life. By focusing on solutions, practicing gratitude, choosing our words wisely, taking action, and letting go of the need for approval, we can free ourselves from these negative patterns. Then, only in this way can we cultivate a more positive, empowered mindset. Lesson 6. You choose the result. Let's talk about the results, not about the victory. Let's talk about the results of our lives, our relationships, our careers, our health. Let's talk about the power we have to shape our own destinies, create the life we want, and overcome the challenges that come our way. The victim mentality. It is easy to fall into the victim mentality, to believe that we are helpless in the game of life and that our outcomes are predetermined by fate or circumstances. Of course, there are things we can't control, the weather, the economy, other people's actions. But even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, we always have a choice. We can choose how we respond to events, how we interpret them, and how we move forward. As the Austrian philosopher Viktor Frankl said, "Everything can be taken from a man except the freedom to choose." For Frankl, suffering can have meaning, and a person has the ability to find that meaning, even in the most adverse circumstances. Frankl not only survived the horrific experience of the Nazi concentration camps during World War II, but he also managed to find deep meaning in his suffering. This personal experience led him to develop a philosophy focused on the search for the meaning of life. Our attitude to any set of circumstances should be to choose our own path. The power of agency. This is the ability to act intentionally and make decisions that shape our lives. It is the opposite of the victim mentality. When we embrace our agency, we recognize that we are not just passive recipients, but active creators of our own reality. As Albert Bandura, a Canadian-American psychologist, put it, If we believe we are capable of achieving our goals, we are more likely to take action and actually achieve them. Bandura is recognized worldwide for his contributions to the field of psychology, especially as it relates to social learning. His ideas have had a significant impact on our understanding of how people learn and develop throughout their lives. So how do we harness our agency and choose the outcomes we want in life? Setting clear goals. What kind of life do you want to create? Be clear about your goals and write them down. This will give you a sense of direction and purpose. Take action. Don't sit around waiting for things to happen. Take steps to achieve your goals, even if they are small. A saying goes, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Start moving step by step. The important thing is that you take action immediately. Learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes. The key is to learn from them and use them as stepping stones to success. As inventor Thomas Edison said, "I haven't failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work." Accept the challenges. Challenges are not obstacles. They are opportunities for growth. When we face challenges, we learn new skills, develop resilience, and expand our comfort zones. Cultivate growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. By adopting a growth mindset, we open ourselves to new possibilities and become more resilient in the face of setbacks. Let's explore how this concept applies in daily life. When the entrepreneur faces a setback in business, he does not give up. Analyze the situation, learn from your mistakes, and pivot your strategy. When the student struggles with a difficult topic, he does not give up. He seeks help from his teachers. He studies more and perseveres. When the athlete is injured, he does not give up on his dreams. He rehabs, works diligently with a physical therapist, and comes back stronger than ever. By embracing your agency, setting clear goals, taking action, learning from your mistakes, accepting challenges, and cultivating a growth mindset, you can create the life you want. As the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre expressed it, life is not what one lived, but what one remembers and how one remembers it in order to tell it. So go out and create a life story worth telling. Lesson 7. Everything is change. We talk about change, the big radical and sometimes frightening changes that occur in life. We're talking about jobs disappearing, relationships ending, bodies aging, the world constantly changing beneath our feet. The illusion of permanence. We humans have a funny way of clinging to the illusion of permanence. We want things to stay the same, to remain predictable and comfortable. But the truth is that change is the only constant in life. Everything is constantly flowing, from the cells in our bodies to the stars in the sky. As the famous Greek philosopher Heraclitus said, "No man bathes in the same river twice, because it is not the same river and it is not the same man." In other words, everything is constantly changing, including ourselves. Resistance is useless. Resisting change is like trying to swim against a raging current. It's exhausting, frustrating, and ultimately useless. The more we resist change, the more we suffer. As the Buddhist saying goes, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. In other words, we cannot avoid the pain of change, but we can choose how we respond to it. We can resist it and suffer, or we can embrace it and grow the change. The first step to embracing change is to accept that everything is impermanent. Nothing lasts forever, not our youth, our health, our relationships, or our possessions. By recognizing impermanence of all things, we can learn to appreciate the present moment and stop clinging to things that are beyond our control. Cultivate flexibility. Life is full of surprises. Be prepared to adapt to new circumstances, to change your plans, and roll with the punches. As the saying goes, the only constant is change. Find opportunities in challenges. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. When things don't go our way, we can choose to see it as a setback or as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and become stronger. As entrepreneur Reid Hoffman put it, if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you launched it too late. Practice detachment. Don't cling to the past or worry about the future. Focus on the present moment and appreciate what you have now. As the Buddhist monk Tian said, the present moment is full of joy and happiness. If you pay attention, you will see it. Let's explore how this concept applies in daily life. Instead of clinging to a job that no longer fulfills them, those who change careers embrace the opportunity to explore new paths and find a job that aligns with their passions and values. Divorce. Instead of dwelling on the past and feeling sorry for themselves, divorce is like an opportunity to start over, reinvent themselves, and create a new life. The aging individual, rather than fearing the aging process, embraces the wisdom and perspective that come with age. They focus on staying active, healthy, and engaged in life. Change is inevitable. It is a fundamental part of life. But by embracing impermanence, cultivating flexibility, finding opportunities in challenges, practicing detachment and focusing on the present moment, we can learn to surf the waves of change with resilience and funny. Lesson 8. Always the same. The monotony of life. It's not about boring commutes or repetitive work tasks. We're talking about the deepest kind of existential monotony. The feeling that life is just a series of repetitive patterns, that nothing really changes, and that we're stuck in an endless loop. It's like living the same day over and over again. Waking up to the same alarm clock, eating the same breakfast, and having the same conversations. Believe it or not, this is a common feeling, especially in our modern world of routines, schedules, and predictable patterns. Our external circumstances may seem repetitive, but our internal experiences don't have to be. We can choose to see each day as a new opportunity, a new beginning, a chance to learn, grow, and experience something new. The perspective of ancient philosophers like Heraclitus and Marcus Aurelius had a lot to say about the nature of change and the importance of embracing the present moment. Heraclitus said that no man ever steps in the same river twice, because it is not the same river, and he is not the same man. In other words, everything is constantly changing, even if we do not notice it. Marcus Aurelius, on the other hand, emphasized the importance of focusing on the present moment and finding joy in the everyday. Therefore, take care of the quality of your thoughts and be careful not to entertain notions unsuitable for virtue and reasonable nature. So how can we free ourselves from the monotony of life and find novelty in the mundane? Full attention. Pay attention to the present moment. Notice the small details, the subtle changes, the unique beauty of each experience. Walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. Gratitude. Instead of focusing on what you lack, focus on what you have. Appreciate the simple pleasures in life, like a hot drink on a cold night, the warmth of the sun tanning your skin, a pleasant and deep conversation. Gratitude can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Curiosity. Approaching each day with a sense of curiosity and wonder, asking questions, exploring new ideas, trying new things, adds flavor to your life. Creativity. Find ways to inject creativity into your daily routine. Prepare a new recipe, take art or literature classes, explore your potential. As the artist Pablo Picasso said, every child is an artist. The problem is to remain an artist once we grow up. Meaningful connections. Connect with others in meaningful ways, have deep conversations, share experiences, and build lasting relationships. As the philosopher Aristotle expressed it, man is by nature a social animal. Let's explore some real-world examples. Imagine a photographer commuting to work. Instead of being distracted on his trip, the photographer takes photographs of his surroundings, noticing the beauty in everyday life. The conscious diner savors each bite, paying attention to flavors, textures, and aromas. The curious student is always seeking new knowledge and skills. They read books, take courses, attend workshops, and engage in conversations with people from different backgrounds and cultures. Life doesn't have to be a monotonous routine. By cultivating mindfulness, gratitude, curiosity, creativity, and connection, we can find newness and joy in even the most mundane aspects of our lives. As philosopher Alan Watts put it, the secret of life is to be completely committed to what you are doing in the here and now. Lesson 9. It's easy to improve, but better at what? Well, what you are looking for, which can be a meaningful life, friends, personal improvement. We're not talking about promises of sculpted, perfect abs in 6 weeks or become millionaires overnight. We are talking about a deeper and more meaningful type of self-improvement, the kind that leads to a more fulfilling life with purpose and impact. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with messages telling us to hurry up, to level up, to be better, encouraging us to optimize every aspect of our lives. From our morning routines to our sleep cycles to our social media, but in all this effort to improve, we often lose sight of the most important question: improve in what? As the philosopher Seneca put it, it is not that we have little time to live, but that we waste much of what we have been given. The time received is sufficient and generous to achieve the greatest achievements if it were well invested. In other words, it's not about how much we do, but how well we invest our time and energy. Imagine your life as an objective, the target. It is your purpose, your passion, your reason for being. The outer rings are all the other things you could be doing, the distractions, the obligations, the things that really don't matter much. The goal is to aim for the bullseye, to focus your efforts on the things that really matter to you and that align with your values. But how do we find our target? How do we know where we should improve? Take time to reflect on your values, your passions, and your strengths. Think about what you are naturally good at, what you like to do, what kind of impact you want to have in the world. Don't be afraid to try new things and explore different paths that may surprise you. What you discover about yourself and what you are truly capable of accomplishing. Listen to feedback from your trusted friends, family, mentors, or coaches. They can offer you valuable information about your strengths and weaknesses and help you identify areas where you can improve. Don't waste your time and energy on things that don't bring you closer to your goals. Let's explore how this concept applies in daily life. Instead of climbing the corporate ladder for the sake of it, the career changer takes a step back and asks what kind of work truly satisfies them. This could be a passion project, starting your own business, or moving into a completely different field. Instead of simply going to the gym to get a beach body, fitness enthusiasts focus on developing strength, endurance, and overall health. They see exercise as a way to improve their quality of life, not just their appearance. Apprentices, rather than simply taking courses to add another credential to their resume, focus on acquiring knowledge and skills that truly interest you and that will help you grow as a person. Ultimately, it's easy to improve, but the best thing is that by focusing on our purpose, our passions, and our values, we can ensure that our efforts are aligned with our goals. As the philosopher Confucius put it, the will to win, the desire to succeed, to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will open the door to personal excellence. Lesson 10. Show the qualities for which you were created. Let's talk about being your most authentic self, about something deeper, more philosophical. Live in alignment with your true nature. Let's face it, most of us spend a lot of time trying to be someone we're not. We wear masks, we play roles, we conform to social expectations that we try to fit into, to please others, to be liked. But in the process, we lose touch with our authentic selves. As philosopher Carl Jung put it, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who we really are. But how can we even know who we really are? How do we discover our hidden talents and strengths? Knowing yourself. This ancient Greek aphorism is the cornerstone of self-discovery. Take time for introspection, reflection, and self-inquiry. Ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What makes me feel alive? What are my gifts and talents? Embrace your quirks. We all have quirks, flaws, and imperfections. Instead of trying to hide them or apologize for them, embrace them as part of what makes you unique and interesting. Question your assumptions. We often have limiting beliefs about ourselves that prevent us from reaching our full potential. These beliefs may be based on past experiences, negative feedback, or social expectations. Question these assumptions and ask yourself if this is really true, if you have evidence to support this belief. What would happen if you let go of these beliefs? Follow your curiosity. What are you naturally drawn to? What topics, activities, or ideas spark your interest and curiosity? Follow your curiosity to see where it takes you. You will be surprised what you can discover, the amount of hidden talents, passions, or even a new career path. Don't sit around waiting for inspiration to strike, act, experiment, and try new things. Simply put, the world changes by your example, not by your opinion. Many people do not discover their true passions or talents until they have traveled much of their life path. Julia Child, for example, did not. Julia did not begin her culinary career until she was 40 years old. She became a world-renowned chef and television personality. Many people feel trapped in careers that do not satisfy them. If they would take the time to reflect on their values and passions, they can take a brave leap and pursue a career that is more aligned with their true self. Many creative people feel like they don't fit into the mainstream, but by accepting their uniqueness and expressing their creativity, they can do so. Always remember that you were born with a unique set of qualities, talents, and potentials. Don't waste them. As human beings, we are prone to self-justification and the desire to maintain a positive image of ourselves. This tendency leads us to create a narrative that at times differs from reality. These small cognitive distortions, while seemingly harmless, can have a profound impact on our lives, affecting our relationships, our mental health, and our ability to reach our potential. By facing our fears, accepting our limitations, and cultivating virtue, we are choosing an authentic and fulfilling life. Honesty with yourself is the first step towards freedom. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes those thoughts, and by observing them with clarity and compassion, you can free yourself from self-deception and live a more authentic life. By knowing yourself, accepting your peculiarities, challenging your assumptions, following your curiosity and taking action, you can live an authentic, joyful, and fulfilling life. Self-deception might be the brain's way of protecting us, but it comes at a high cost. By becoming more self-aware, practicing radical honesty, and seeking feedback, we can free ourselves from these illusions and live more authentic, fulfilling lives. This is our introspective journey. I hope you have lit that flame, that you let it burn within you, that its light shines so intensely that it scares away the shadows of self-deception. Leave us your comments, subscribe to the channel, and give us a like. I invite you to continue with us. Let us continue to grow together in the knowledge of the timeless Stoic philosophy.